Hey, this is Tim from AK Endless Sports Cards. So, theme of today's video, decisions. It is Sunday. We got the National coming up on Wednesday. This more than likely will be my last video going into the National. I do plan to be filming while I'm there. I don't know what the internet situation is going to be like in our hotel, so I don't know if I'm going to be uploading daily or if I'm just going to have to put videos together when I get back. I'm hoping to do those on a day-to-day basis during the National, but if not, be on the lookout for those immediately after the National. I'll start putting those out. I did want to mention too, thank you to all of the people that have subscribed, and thank you to all the people that have been viewing the channel. I know that our viewership has been up, and the number of subscribers has been going up. You know, just a small YouTube channel. I started in January. Love making the videos, so it's really cool that that's resonating with groups of people, and so thank you to you. With that said, I was thinking about the show that I was at yesterday, the Lansing show. If you haven't watched that video, give it a look because I think you'll enjoy that, especially if you like trades and things like that. And I was thinking about that principle of giving up more value when you're trying to trade up into bigger cards. And I came up with something that I think is comparable in everyday life as a sports fan. So I view giving up a little more value in these trades the same as when you see an NBA trade deadline trade and you see a superstar that's averaging like 25 points, 27 points a game get traded for three guys that are averaging like 12 points a game. When you look at those cumulative stats, you're just like, well, you know, you're trading for three players. They're averaging 36 points a game, but this guy's only averaging 27. You know, trading for three players is probably better. In the NBA, that's never the case. Now, in these situations, you know, I'm trading with dealers. And so these dealers will sell those cards, and they'll do well. But that's kind of the principle that I'm looking at it at. What would I rather have? Would I rather have, you know, those quantities of cards or trade up into more expensive ones? I personally would rather have the more expensive ones. Shout out to those back pages. I read your comment about how I didn't mention that bringing Walter Payton rookie cards into Chicago is a huge point, and hey, tip of my cap to you, sir. That is a good point. In my excitement over acquiring those Walter Paytons, I didn't really mention how it was perfect timing because they're going to Chicago, and that is a place where he is super, super popular. So shout out to you. I did want to note one more piece here about these trades. If you're going to the National, or if you're not able to, and but you're going to a local show, if you're going to try to do this, if you're going to try to, you know, put some cards together and trade up, establish values and try to trade straight across first. The initial trade offers that I was making didn't end up being the offers that ended up getting done, if that makes sense. My first offer is typically not my best. And so I usually try to, like if I'm trading for $600 worth of cards, I usually try to come up with $600 worth of cards that I want to trade, and that's my first offer. Just straight across. $600 or $600. Now, when you're dealing with dealers who are very experienced in negotiations, that's likely not going to work for them. Because, you know, they have margins that they're looking to meet, and they typically want to have a little bit of extra margin on the top just because, you know, they have to piece these cards out and they may take longer to sell, which is legit. I mean, it's understandable because it's true. So, but that's a tip for you. Offer a straight across equal value trade first, and then just kind of take it from there. If you have some, you know, extra cards that you want to throw in that are lower value, that you're not attached to, that you have, you know, no attachment to, I should say, then maybe offer to throw those in. That's how I got that Walter Payton deal done. Now, I feel like I'm in a great situation right now going to the National because my budget's basically intact. And so I didn't spend a lot of money at the show. I told you in one of those deals that I'd thrown in an extra $100. So my budget for the National is basically still intact, which is great. I didn't want to spend a ton of money, but I didn't want to pass on good deals. And so I was able to come out of that relatively unscathed budget-wise. So pretty thrilled about that. I've went through these cards and I've been thinking about these. And I'm thinking that the two cards... At first, my first thought was I was going to try to trade all of these cards toward a bigger card. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think the Giannis and the Jeter I'm going to have up for trade. So these are the cards that I had actually showed you yesterday. The Jeter SP Foil Rookie and the Giannis Hoops. Those are going to be on the trade block during the National. If I see something that I really, really want... I'm going to bring the other cards with me, the Peyton rookies and things like that, but I'm probably going to hold on to those. The Peytons and the Barry Sanders. Those are cards that I've been wanting for a while, and so I'm probably going to keep those and just look to trade the Jeter and the Giannis. If I don't trade any of those, I'm fine with it. But for me to trade all of these cards, I would really have to find something that I absolutely had to have, which... could happen. If you've been collecting for a while, things can change relatively quickly. So I'm going to bring them all with, but that's the plan as of now. We'll see if that actually happens. I did want to have one side note also. I know this is kind of a random side note here. When I picked up the second Peyton rookie with it, which was an SGC 5, this card actually. When I picked up this particular card, there's a good picture of it. The guy had a PSA 5 as well. Valued at roughly the same. I think he had an extra like $20 on it. I'm really starting to get a better understanding. I'm not a huge vintage collector, but when people talk about like eye appeal and not all fives are created equally, things like that, or like a lower grade can look better than a higher grade. That really hit home for me and really kind of sunk in yesterday because I didn't mention it in the video, but I was thinking about it last night. I passed on the PSA 5 for the SGC 5. And I know that right off the bat, when you're listening to this, you're just like, well, that wasn't very smart. That was kind of dumb, actually. The PSA 5 is more desirable. But the PSA 5 card had faded. Like, the color on the card was nowhere near as crisp as the SGC. And I'm not saying that there was any tampering or anything like that. Matter of fact, I don't think there was. I just think that that's why it got a lower grade, was because that color had faded. And I don't have a ton of experience in vintage, so I don't know if that's super common or not. If it is, you can let me know in the comments if you've experienced that type of thing before. Very likely that people have. But the SGC 5 just looked so much better. And so I went with it. I went with the card that just looked better. Regardless of the fact that PSA, tends to be more popular, I went with the SGC. So that was just kind of a side note there. Shifting gears. A couple of side notes here. Talking about decisions. So I had mentioned in a couple videos, I think, and how I wanted to pick up some Panini VIP sets. I'm still waiting on Panini to post that information as far as who is going to be in those sets. There's no information on that yet. I saw somebody post, and I don't know if they were kidding or if they were serious, that we won't find out till Wednesday. Who knows? I still have not seen who's going to be in that Panini VIP set. The idea there, remember, is I'm hoping Wembanyama is. If he is, I'm going to be looking to buy a few of those. I'm going to be paying about $20 to $25 per Panini VIP set, depending on who else is in there, with the idea of getting a couple of those graded. Hopefully, that goes better than the Topps Now Victor Wembanyama reveal, where I had accidentally ordered the set of those cards instead of just Victor. Also, so I looked at I saw the gem rate numbers for grading for the top 4 companies, and I saw that PSA was over 6 million cards graded so far in 2023. So in other words, this year they've graded over 6 million cards. The BGS was just under 400,000. The reason why I'm bringing that up is, despite the fact that BGS is in 4th place this year, with just under 400,000 cards graded, where PSA has 6 million, BGS is still charging $100 per card at the National to get the cards graded by the end of show. That, to me, just doesn't make sense. I know there's certain types of cards that people want to get graded with BGS. I know oftentimes, like, you know, the baseball prospects and things like that, where people want to have autos graded and stuff like that. I get that part, but that just doesn't make sense. You'd think that there would be some price cuts to try to spur more interest, but who am I to say? I don't work for BGS, and yeah, I just kind of thought that didn't really fit. So that's a little update there on those numbers. I thought that was kind of interesting. Just the last couple things as we kind of close out this video. Event-wise at the National, I'm planning, there's supposed to be a YouTube content creators get together on Thursday. I got to look up the location on that, but I am planning on attending that. So if anybody watching is also a YouTube content creator and you're going to be going to that get together, I will likely see you there because I'm planning on that for Thursday night. No word yet on the Topps Q&A. That's something that I go to every time I go to the National if I get there soon enough to be able to sign up. The Topps Q&A, if you're unfamiliar with it, you kind of sign up early during the National. They only typically accept, I think, 150 people. They have free food, free drinks, and they have giveaways at this Topps question and answer meeting. No word on that yet. I did see somebody post that they thought that it was canceled this year or was not going to happen this year. I have not been able to confirm that, so I don't know if that's the case. So I'm going to keep my eyes open for that. And again, as I mentioned early in the video, this is likely the last video until the National itself. I'll try to get videos up during the show. I do plan on filming there. I'll try to get more footage too of like showcases and things like that because I'll be there for all 5 days, so I'll have time to be able to do that. But again, I don't know about the upload situation, so I'll either be posting them daily or immediately after the National or something in between. So we will see. So thanks again for those of you that are viewing the channel, and if you haven't already, if you'd consider subscribing, that would be great. And remember that the opportunities for collecting sports cards are endless.